Get in!
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be doing a video which I've been planning to do for a while, but I've just been waiting to get a lot of matches out before I could show this video. So today we're going to be using 5 skills that I've used in actual games this season, and I'll show you the clips and the highlights from them. So yeah, you're going to see that now. So they're the 5 skills that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to teach you when to use them, what type of positions are perfect for the skill, and then you guys can go home and practice your own version or exactly what I've done today. Okay, so for the first skill, it's another skill that we've done many times on my channel. It's the Cruyff turn. Now, it's used by a lot of like right backs, left backs. That's the best position to use it, and I think it works best with them players. But that doesn't mean you can't use it all over the pitch. You can. It's one of them skills to just get you out of danger if you put yourself in that position. As you'll have seen from the example in the game, I used it on the wing, cutting back onto my weaker foot to put a cross in. The cross didn't really come to anything, so that's why we want to be able to do this skill with both feet. It's so important to practice on both feet because then you can put yourself onto your strong foot after doing the skill. Whereas in this instance, I used it with my right foot to do the skill, and then it came back on my left, and I can use my left, but the cross wasn't perfect, so that's why it came to nothing in the end. How we do this skill, basically we turn our foot on like a 90 degree as we do, and we bring it back with the inside of our foot. You can use the bottom of your foot sometimes if you can't always get a grip on the ball. You can use the bottom of your foot and just drag it back. But mainly you want to try and use the inside of your foot as you're doing it to keep yourself between the player and the ball so they can't get the ball without fouling you, unless they totally read you, which if you do the skill properly, they won't. Another thing is make sure your foot is just to the side of the ball as you do the skill so you've left yourself plenty of space to perform it, and yeah, you should be fine. Just give it a lot of practice. It's quite a basic skill. I'd say it's an easy skill more than like an average or a hard one. I'd say it's an easy skill to do, so just give it a few practices and you should be able to do it. Alright, moving on to the second skill now. I don't really have a skill name for this. I normally get them from FIFA or from what I know, but I don't actually know the name of this, so if you do, leave it in the comment section. But either way, it's just a simple one of leaving your defender. You're going to push into them a little bit to push them away. You're going to come and receive the ball so you've got a bit of space, and then you're going to do the turn. Now, you've seen in the game example that I used, and I want to give you a little bit of a tip of how I used it and why. So in that position, I knew the defender was really pressing me as hard as he could. That team were really, really high pressed. So I knew I didn't have much time on the ball, and if I left a little bit of a gap, he was going to try and close it down as quick as he can, which he did, and that was why I was able to pull that skill off. If the defender's going to sit off you, you can't really do that skill in that movement, but because I knew the defender was really coming at me, I was able to perform the skill. Now, this won't always work, but because I'd worked out what they were doing, they're really high pressing, that's why I knew I was able to use the skill. And if another team does that on you, he or she is going to press you really hard. That's when you can perform the skill in any sort of situation. But I would recommend you do this in the opposite half, so don't do this in your own half, because if you lose the ball, you are under a little pressure, they might get through and score. So use this in like the brinks of their half. I used it kind of just over the halfway line, which was a bit dangerous, but I trust my instincts and I trust my skills, and it worked out perfect for me in that instance. So again, we're using the inside of our foot, but this time it's obviously a little bit different because you don't have control of the ball. It's when the ball's passed into you and it's done in one little touch. So as the ball comes into you, you're just going to flick it with the inside of your foot one direction. Either use your right foot or left foot, doesn't matter, whichever direction you want to go into. Again, if you're going to use it on the right foot, you're going to end up on your right foot in the end. So make sure if you're left footed, try it more with your left foot so you can get back onto your left foot again. So yeah, either way, just give this one a few practices. You can see how it's done right there. Again, I would say this is more of an easy skill, maybe an average one, just breaching that part. So shouldn't take too long. Just give it a shot and let me know how you guys get on. Now moving on to the next skill, I have two great examples, and this is because I always preach that if you have good control of your skill, you're either going to beat the player or they're going to follow you, and this shows perfectly what I'm talking about. So if you perform the skill properly, they're either going to follow you, which he did in this example right here. He took me down because he knew I was going to get past him, and I was probably going to have a good scoring chance. But in the other example, he didn't actually get me at first. He ended up bringing me down again because I was probably going to get through, but either way I still got past him with the skill, and you can see how to perform. So you want to make sure when you're doing it, there's space in behind you and you're kind of on an angle, so you can run it straight, so he'll run at it straight or she'll run at it straight, and that's when you peel off the other direction and you get him behind. You don't actually touch the ball, so it's the only skill you can do without touching the ball necessarily, and it's very useful as a striker because it might put them off. They might not know it's going to come, and then you do it and then you through one-on-one with a keeper or something like that. But just make sure you don't use it too many times in the game because it becomes very easy to read. So make sure you just use it once or twice during a game, and make sure you have that space in behind. So when is the right time to use it? So I would say mainly on the wing. I didn't really use it too much on the wing in these examples. It was kind of to the side but not perfectly on the right wing or left wing. But if you know there's space in behind you and you've got the pace on the player, then you can use it pretty much anywhere as long as you've got that space. Just make sure you're not using it as a midfielder going to turn into another set of defenders, because then they're just going to take it off you. You need that space in behind you, so as long as you've got that space, you can pretty much use it anywhere. I know defenders use it sometimes to let the ball roll, and some people can dummy it and let it go through, and yeah, it just works nicely like that. But if you want to get on the end of it, make sure that you've got space in behind you. Like I say, if you're up against a back four and you want to beat one of them players, then it's perfect time to use it right then. But yeah, just give this one a shot. It's something you can't really practice on your own, but it's something that might pop up in game situations. So if it does, then hope for the best, and yeah, just make sure you've got that space in behind you. Alright, moving on to the fourth skill now, we've got the roulette, or the Maradona as I call it. This one's been done so many times on my channel, probably overdone now, but it's something I use in a game, and that's probably why I like to use it in videos as well. I can do it starting with both feet, so I start with my left and to my right, and I can do it from my right to my left, which is very important because it means I can go onto either foot, and I can go in any direction I want to. But it's very, very simple on how to do it. You're just going to drag it back with one foot, and then as you spin on a 180, you're dragging it away with the other foot. I'll slow it down so you guys can see it in these examples, but it's very, very useful if someone's diving in like you've seen in the example I used in the game. The guy dived in and I was easily just be able to get away, and I've got like 5 or 6 yards because he slid in. I'm not sure why he slid in right there. It wasn't really a great tackle, but either way, it came off quite nicely in that situation. I've used it a lot throughout this season, but that's the only one I can see on record because I haven't recorded every single game, but I've recorded most. I think the perfect time to use this in a game would be kind of if someone's stretching for the ball and you know you can get there first and take the ball away from them, because if they're reaching for it and you put the ball even further away, there's no chance they're going to get it. He or she's just going to extend their leg to the point where they can't reach the ball and they're going to end up on the floor and dive in, and you can just walk away from them. But yeah, it's something that kind of pops up in a certain situation. It's not something I would say use full pelt if you're running like the fastest you can run. It's not a skill I would recommend using then because you're going to end up losing the ball or something. But if you're at a slow pace and you know you're going to get there before the other person, then just get the ball, pull it back, take it away, and then you've got a nice little skill move right there. But I would say use it mainly on the wing. I feel like it's more safe. You've got yourself between the ball and the defender, so you're pretty safe on there. So you're either going to get past them or you're going to win a foul. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Give it a few practices. Like I say, I've slowed it down so you guys can see it, and yeah, just give it a shot. If you guys are wondering where the footage is from the skills that we're doing in the game, I actually record most of our matches that we play on a Saturday. It's in the Wearside League. We're currently second. I think we're behind by 1 point. Is that right? 1 point. But yeah, it's been a very good season so far, so if you haven't seen the videos on the matches, go watch. We've scored something like 72 goals and conceded 16, I think. 16 or 19. But yeah, that's where all the footage is recorded. If you want to see the matches, they're all in the description below. For this skill, I can't really show you because it's not exactly taking someone on. It's more of a pass that I did in a match against, I believe it was Silksmith. I did get sent off that game, but besides the point. We scored from it. It was like a little pass like this, so we step back a couple of yards. So say there was a player just over to my left right here. I had the ball, there was a guy on my left side, and I just drag it back and pass with the inside of my foot. Shot again. It's very simple. So the guy was on me, was holding him off, drag back, and play it like that. And then it went to Bathy, and he had a shot, and we scored from it. You can use it as a skill. So say this was the defender on me right here. Hold him off like this, just touching it out, drag him back, and then move with it. Okay, so there are 5 skills that I've used so far this season. I've used a lot more, but not every game is recorded. And also, I want to do another video on this again, maybe some advanced skills that we've all used, maybe some other ones that people have used on my team as well. So not just me, because I know Phil likes to use a lot of skills, and we've got other players in the team that like to use more skills. So maybe I could do an all-around video on that. But yeah, if you want to see that, make sure you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.